You are welcome to the Urbane Bloke Experience podcast.
What's good, people? You're welcome to another episode of the Urbane Bloke Experience podcast. I'm your host, Gary Tosin. First off, I want to appreciate and thank everybody that has been working with us, that has been contributing and investing their time and energy into listening, engaging, watching our content. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. Also, if this is the first time you are coming across this pod, I want to officially welcome you to the Urbane Bloke Experience podcast. Over here, we focus on growth mindset, self-improvement, and self-awareness. So if this is something that resonates with you, you're at the right place. And finally, if you haven't done it already, I want to ask everybody for a quick favor. Please follow the page, engage with our content, share to your loved ones. There is no community without you guys, and as we grow, we can reach more people, we can reach more audience, and we can be more impactful. And I promise you guys we are going to remain dedicated to providing the premium value that you guys deserve. All right? Thank you. So today, I have an amazing guest with me in the studio. But before we get into that, right, if you're a creative, if you're trying to navigate life, if you're trying to figure out your purpose or the next thing about yourself, this episode is one for you. In the studio, in the building, in the house with me, I have the talented, the awesome, the incredible, the magnificent, wonderful Teinye Boyle. You're welcome,
Thank you so
bro.
much. Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome to the Urbane Bloke Experience, man.
Thank you so much.
How
I'm
you
glad to
doing?
be here. I'm very well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, can you give me a quick introduction of yourself for someone who doesn't know you?
Right. So my name is Teinye Boyle, the only one there is in the world, and I call myself a multipod, and that's because I do so many things. I can do so many things. So I'm an African multi-hyphenate artist. I am a bunch of many things. Chief amongst them, an author, a life coach, singer. The list goes on.
A lot of talent.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, brother.
So, how you doing? Tell me about your day. How's your day been?
Not bad. Woke up, went to the gym, did my lawn,
Okay.
and then came here.
Good. So I have a question I always ask people. Well, I've just started asking guests now.
Right.
And it's a bit of a deep one, but I'll still ask you. So what would you say, because this is the end of the week, right? What would you say is the dominating emotion this week for you?
Wow.
That's strong, right?
Wow.
I feel like when I ask people that, it's like, oh my God, I've never
Yeah.
thought about that. When I came across it, it was such a insightful question to ask.
Yeah.
It's a way of just like analyzing your week and reflecting over it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say joy.
That is the first time I'm hearing that.
Yeah.
Honestly. Really?
I would say joy. For some funny reason. So I'm one person who is hardly, what's the word now? In a bad mood. Yeah. I try not to be in a bad mood. It's very hard to get me to be in a bad mood. You know, so but for some funny reason this week, beginning of this week, I kind of like woke up with one kind of joy. You know, and then it's funny how, or it's good to witness that the joy has kind of stayed all through. Maybe because of my plans for the weekend, i.e. coming here, I've got like an event tomorrow as well that also means well to me. So yeah, I would say joy.
Oh, that's good, man.
Yeah.
That's, for me, it's been fulfillment.
Right.
Yeah. Last week, we planned the party and we hosted a few of our friends, and that was really good. That was my first time hosting or planning an event, and it came out really good. Everybody had fun, and it's been giving me a huge source of fulfillment, and it's encouraged me to see that, okay, I can actually do things, you know. You can plan things and just take care of people. So you get this, And I've been just basking in that. And I think that has been the dominating one for me.
Nice.
So it's interesting. Joy and fulfillment. Ah, This is going to be a good pod.
It will be, yes.
So, first question I want to ask you, for the audience, right? For someone who doesn't know you and they've just tuned in, and say they are on their way to work or they are doing the dishes, and they're about to listen to this episode, what is it about your journey and your work that you believe that when you share it, they will learn a lot from? Like, what are the benefits from these conversations that we're about to have now?
I think one of the most important things about my journey is how I turned shame into revenge, into revenge success. So obviously, if you stick around, you're going to learn about how a shy boy who was fighting so many demons conquered the demons and turned it around to become a success story still being written.
That's interesting. Because first off, you refer to yourself as a creative disruptor.
Yes, I do.
When I came across that, I know what it means to be a disruptor.
Yep.
I know what it means to be a creative. So the combination of the two was just like, oh, wow. This is really good. This is clever. Well, can you touch down on that and explain the reason behind it and what that means to be like a creative disruptor?
Right. So because of the many things that I do, right, there is always a template to these things. You have things that, so for instance, in music, I have a very rich history in music, classical music. I've sang since I was 15, you know. But usually, because of how the choir is or was at the time, you always have to like belong to one part. You have to sing one particular part. You have to do one particular thing. But at different points in my life, I kind of like broken stereotypes or you know, things that they expect you to be. I became a choir master from age 15.
Right.
You know, that's disruptive. You know, and then I kind of like moved parts as well. I currently sing 3 classical parts in music, yes. And that's just in classical music. Now, when you come into pop music, I sing 2.
Okay.
You understand? All right. So, okay, for classical music, I sing countertenor, I sing tenor, and I sing baritone.
So I didn't know there was a countertenor.
Oh, there is.
I know tenor.
Yeah,
but
there is.
I feel like everybody knows about tenor.
Yeah, there is.
Countertenor is.
Yeah.
What is countertenor?
So countertenor is so the history is most male singers who started off as a treble, that's a soprano singer, they kind of end up as countertenors. So countertenor is a feminine sounding male voice. Yes. So there are some in opera and classical music, there are some music that is written for that kind of voice, that they don't want the writer of the song doesn't want the music to be interpreted with too soft feminine voice and too hard and masculine voice. So it's just between there. Yeah, so I sing countertenor. That's like my first part. Right. And then baritone, and then tenor.
Okay.
And then in pop music, I sing baritone.
All right.
And then I sing, I would say alto,
right.
You know, but when I'm singing like with a choir, like a contemporary choir, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let me use myself, right? I've been told to have a baritone voice.
You do sound like one.
Yeah. So, but I have no musical experience at all.
Right.
Do you think there is hope for me?
Yeah. Because I mean, 50% of your singing voice is from your talking voice.
Right.
Yes.
So I just need to work on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Definitely. I will note that down. I'm not sure if I'll ever get into it, but it's something that I would like to explore sometime.
Yeah.
So you're a life coach, right?
I am.
Yeah, tell me about like the journey of that. And one thing I want to ask you in regards to that is, as a life coach, what is the most common challenges that you feel like creative they deal with?
Okay. To finish up the question you asked me last, you know, talking about being a disruptor, I'll just finish up with. Now, I was talking about music. When you go into film, right? I'm a screenwriter. I'm predominantly a writer first, but I write for screen as well, and then I direct as well, and then I produce. So these are little disruptions that would not happen, in the traditional mainstream sector of music or film or art. When you're doing the different things that are meant for like 5 people and you're doing it. So that's why I call myself a creative disruptor, because really that's what it is. Now, to answer your second question, so there's this yearning for people to understand what their purpose is, and that's 9 out of 10, the question that I get asked most frequently. How do I find my purpose? How do I choose? How do I pick? And you find a lot of multipods. That's the one thing they keep asking. How do I find? How do I choose? Which one should I go first? But my kind of life coaching, right? It's not like the normal what everybody does. Everybody says no, just pick one, run with it, build a career with this, yada yada yada. I'm the life coach that will tell you to pursue all.
Right.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, right? So I remember when I came across the word multipod.
Right.
It was very interesting. And for some reason, because I have a podcast.
Yeah. You thought it was like pod. Yeah.
I don't know why I thought
Right.
about it, but first it was like, maybe it's a reference to a podcast. Then I was like, okay, that was something that intrigued me. Then I looked into it. So like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So, and you've just mentioned it. For someone who doesn't know what or who a multipod is, can you give an explanation on that? And also, why has that been something that you've decided to make your life's work? Because it's very interesting.
Right. So, unprofessionally, a multipod is somebody who gets called a jack of all trade in mockery. But we all know that it's the short form. The full form is jack of all trade, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one. But when you hear people call others jack of all trade, it's from a place of mockery, like you're doing too much, you're indecisive, right? So that would be the unprofessional way of saying it.
Right.
Now, the professional way, according to dictionaries and things like that, a multipod is someone who thrives, that's the word, who thrives in 2 or more pursuits, passions, purpose, really. Yeah.
See, so your book, right, when I read it, like I mentioned earlier, there are so many things that spoke to me, and I could relate to a lot of things. I will just give you like a quick, brief background of the creative things I've done.
Yeah.
So I was a child actor. I used to sing when I was really small.
Yeah.
Then eventually because of my parents, and it was academics. Then after uni, while I was in uni, I got into different things. I did some modeling.
Yeah.
Then after uni, I got into photography, did a little bit of videography before now starting podcasting. So already, what you've just explained right now, if there's someone watching me on the TV right now, like, this guy, I don't know what they do it in life. Like,
That's what you people tend to say.
Exactly. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is what best describes me. And one of the challenges personally and the struggles that I've always had is the need for me to stick to one thing. And so when I started photography, it was really exciting for me. I got into it. But also I wasn't getting as much fulfillment from it. That was the birth of videography and podcasting. And I realized that the energy that I get from podcasting is completely different. But when I started podcasting, I did not want to let go of photography. But because of the societal expectation and the construct, there was this, you cannot do both. So you have to let one go. So I had to make the decision of which one are you going to let go. And to be honest, it felt like I was breaking up with something. Because my photography, I had plans for it. It wasn't going to be like the portrait to be cool. I wanted my photography to speak. So I started a page. And one of the things that I did, like, okay, I'm not going to completely leave it. I'm just going to start with my phone, I'm not going to be professional, but I'll just... Because I would go out on a drive at night, then I would take pictures of buildings and all of that. Like, anything that catches my attention. I see it fascinating. I take a picture of it
Yeah.
from that angle, and I thought that was a way of expressing myself.
Mm.
But when I started podcasting, I felt like, yeah, you need to let that go.
Yeah.
And it felt bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Up until now, I still, when I see people doing great in photography, there is that tiny voice of, you could have, but you left it. So,
Yeah.
so for someone that is also battling that right now,
Yeah.
and they are being forced to like make a decision, what would you advise the person? And also the reality that comes with it, because one of the things that they tell you or that you think about is the reality of me actually excelling in both might be a bit slim. So is it a mindset thing or a reality thing, or how do you navigate that?
There's nothing that is happening now that hasn't happened before. And so I'll give a bit of history, and it's still part of what I wrote at the early part of the book. Many years ago, very many years ago, we had people called the polymath, right? These are people that excelled in different disciplines: art, science, law. One person. You have people like Michelangelo. You have some black people like W.E. Du Bois. You have George Washington Carver, people like that they were modern day multipods, but then we're called polymath. Now, these are people that actually went to school, studied law, and then alongside went again and studied medicine, and then did something else. So they have these are authorities in different fields. Okay. Now, this was pre-industrialization era, right? So you could say, well, that was how the world was. And then the industrialization came, and there was a need for people to specialize. Okay. But then again, the industrialization era is fast going out.
Yeah.
Now, people are now morphing into something else. Now, this new era, and that's why when you talked about making this my life's work, this new era favors multi-potentiality. The world has gone past that specialty era where people have to, if you're a lawyer, just stick to law and then rise in it and become. Everybody who is a multipod deep down is beginning to, now it's funny how people are not saying this. How many people do you know who have just one job?
That's the thing.
Now, during the era of our parents, which is very much into the time of specialty, most of our parents, just a few of them had business attached to their career, their work,
Right.
but they were predominantly career people or business people, and they faced it head on.
Right.
You understand? But now, a lot of people are doing things together because the era favors it. It allows for it. You understand? So it's a mindset thing when you think that the society would say you're doing too much because you're doing many things. I watched an interview with Fowles and Ife of Dear Ife's diary. It was so profound, and I've been wanting to, post about it, but in the right context. So Ife was asking Fowles, if you don't know Fowles is a Nigerian musician and a lawyer and many other things.
And a comedian too.
Yeah, you understand? So Ife was asking Fowles, so, what do you think is the big picture? Which one would you think would be the one you focus? Music, film, law? And it was like, for the foreseeable future, I'm going to do all of them. And I kind of felt really good because I'm like, finally, people are coming out, in front of national TV to talk about how they're going to pursue all of their dreams. You understand? So definitely anyone who is battling with that kind of situation where you don't want to choose, the question is, why should you choose? Because you're given these things for a reason. You understand? Look, God is so generous that he literally gives you all the things you need. Now, the concept of education, right, wasn't in God's dictionary. It's a man-created concept. So God kind of gave us the things that we would prosper in without even going to school for. That's why you see people being born with good voice. They don't need to go to music school to train.
Right.
They just have the voice because they are built to sing. Some people are comedians. They make you laugh effortlessly. Some people are good writers. They don't go to writing school. They just know how to put words together. You understand? So if that is you, why should you want to shed off one part of you because you want to fit into the construct of society?
Right.
So it's lack of education that makes anyone now in today's world look at somebody who's doing 2-3 things and mocking them. That shows a high level of ignorance. Because if you know what the times and seasons are now, you would adjust to the fact that multi-potentialites, multipods, polymaths, scanners, all of us who are doing one. Now you have someone like Beyonce, who obviously is predominantly a singer, but she does film.
Yeah.
And you know she edits her videos.
I didn't.
Oh yes, she does.
Really?
Beyonce edits her videos. You can fact check me.
Oh wow.
Yes, she's that involved. So she literally edits her videos. So there's that producer part of it. You understand? So at the end of the day, look at someone like Tyler Perry, who I absolutely adore. Tyler Perry plays Madea.
Yeah.
He's written it, and then he directs it. Then he plays Madea in the series, and then produces it.
Yeah.
You understand? So a lot of people are now coming. A lot of multipods are now coming out of their shell, and living their life to the fullest. So it would be very mundane of anybody to say, you're doing too much because you're pursuing all your dreams. Nah, you're not doing too much. That era has passed. So people need to know what the time is saying now.
Right. And I appreciate the fact that you've just explained this perfectly. So what I'm thinking right now is it's a educational problem.
It is.
So where do we start challenge that? Because from my experience, for you to get this level of awareness, you might have gotten to a point where maybe it's even too late and you've forgotten some particular talents that you have and you've given up on them. So at what level should we start motivating and be talking about this thing and creating the awareness towards it? Especially, I'm thinking of a young child now. For example, right? Sorry, I'm using my experience again. When I started with acting, I was really good at it. I was so good at it, I became a child celebrity, that kind of thing. So I had the opportunity. There were people that they were ready to put me on and help me build a career from it. But at the time, my dad was, my parents were about the academic.
Yeah, so school
finish
first.
schools and all that.
Yeah.
And eventually I had to give up on it. Up until now, I still feel some type of I could have been a good actor, Maybe I will still get back to it further. I don't know. But that died because there was a fire in me then, and I was giving it my every, and people could see that this guy actually sabi act. So, at what level? Imagine there were awareness of that as little as, or my parents had the awareness of, okay, he could do that and he can still continue to pursue everything, and we can just help and nurture him to navigate this whole thing. That would have created a different result. So at what point do you think is best for the awareness and to start preaching this gospel of multipod?
So because we're millennials, I believe, we're born into an era where the industrialization era was dying off.
Yeah.
So our parents were our parents who predominantly are boomers or Gen X, are predominantly the people who kind of ended it.
Yeah.
So we were born into that era, and our parents did not know any better. So what they did was to imbibe in us the culture that they were born into.
Yeah.
Because if you look at their own parents, which would bring us to the Awolowo's and the Nnamdi Azikiwe's, right?
Yeah.
Those people were kind of very pro one thing, just go on and do all you need to do, But our parents, being the children of that generation, were grew up through that, and they didn't know any better. They trained us. I had because of music, right? I could have been really, really big music-wise by now, because sometime many years ago, I think I was 8 or 9, thereabout, I did sing in front of some people who came from a project called Project Philip. They came from the UK, I think. I would believe there were a bunch of white people in our church at the time. And then I sang. and then they were going to speak to my parents about how to export my talent, wanting me to travel with them and do like God's work. But no, because my parents did not know any better, they said no, he has to finish school first. You understand, But we millennials who are now going to give birth to the Gen Alphas and the very younger Gen Zs, I think because we know better now, I believe a lot of us need to seek education and know better.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say I don't think a lot of us know better.
Well, the thing though is, I'm really impressed with the fact that most of parents, our generations who are parents now, are now allowing the children to really pursue. Now, maybe it's because they live in the Western world. Right. I don't know. But back home, for instance, I've got an older sister, even though she's exposed because she's lived abroad for a while. But she has a son, my nephew, who is very much into football. Now, he's into football. He's very good in football. And then he's also good with mathematics. She's allowing him pursue both of them. Right. Her daughter is an author. As a matter of fact, when I wrote this book, she had written hers. She was 8 at the time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, children's
That's
book.
so impressive.
You understand? So a lot of millennial parents who are now who've given themselves education kind of know these things. But I think at the end of the day, there's really no point, like they say in the local parlance in Nigeria, where you wake up, now your morning starts. You understand? So it's when anybody chooses to pursue education that they know that their morning has started. But there's actually no definite time. But it's very important for you to know that gone are the days where people just pursue one thing.
That is so impressive, honestly. And she wrote her first book at 8.
She did, yeah. By the way, I'll give her a shout. Her name is Naomi Bob Manuel.
A big shout out to Naomi, man. You're doing awesome. I'm so proud of you. Right. So you mentioned something about being shy, and I relate to that a lot. Like my high school, I was really shy, and I was a bit very withdrawn. Yeah, due to like few things that had happened. How were you able to like turn that? Because I imagine there are people that are going through the same thing, and it affected the way they've lived life, and they've carried that whatever experience that they had that made them that way. They've carried it for so long, and it's become part of them. I mean, I feel like I'm still carrying some of it myself. So, how were you able to turn that into something awesome and productive like this? How were you able to navigate that? Because it is strong. It is very, very strong, and it gets heavy. Sometimes we see ourselves through that light too. We see ourselves through that lens. We see ourselves from. There is that, for me, there is that small boy that when some certain situations they happen, the default setting is back to that feeling of, oh my God. Then I'm withdrawn. I'm trying to navigate it, but is there anything that you can share more light on, and just how you were able to navigate that and turn that around into something productive and positive?
Okay, this bit is going to be a bit long,
right,
but because I want to get somewhere with it, and I know somebody somewhere would listen to this, and it'll heal them. So, me being a shy kid, meant I was working 2 lives, right? I had the very bubbly side, which is my creative side, right? But because as a kid, we had the expectations from our parents and society was that you're meant to be a bright kid, you're meant to excel academically. Nobody really cares. If you sing well, that ends in the school choir. There's literally nothing coming out of that, whatever genius you are. But because you had to excel, academically, you had to take first, and because I wasn't an academically bright child, right, particularly like into secondary school. And now I give a funny story. So I think sometime last week, there's this group, this WhatsApp group of my friends we did like JSS1 together, and then I did like a did SS1 twice. So in what we call repeats, I had to repeat SS1. That's largely because I was in the wrong class. I was put in science class. It wouldn't fit into me. I struggled academically and things like that. So I was just joking with my friend the other day. We were talking about a teacher, and I said, this person taught me English in my SS1 redo. And then it was, so my friend was like, I love the sound of that, like, so the redo, so, and then he said something. He said, come to think of it, it's funny how inconsequential that is to whatever you've become,
True.
But, and it was like, I'm sure many years ago, that would have been like a big thing. Yes, it was.
What?
It was because I still, anytime I'm with my classmates, right, I still feel like they see me as that person that repeated.
Yeah.
You understand? I still kind of like feel like these people think of me, they still judge me by that.
True.
Bro, I am doing better than half of them. And that's not being pompous, but that's just the fact. I've seen some of them who kind of like excelled academically many years ago, struggling with a lot of things. Now, it's not their fault because life comes with its own lemons, but it just goes to show how inconsequential, things like that really are in today's world. Now, part of the things that made me timid was because when children were called upon, when children were winning prizes, you know how it is in primary school, when you're winning prizes, someone is taking first, and these are like the most celebrated children.
Yeah.
You are not celebrated, you're just at the background. Unlike many other people who were just at the background, I was excelling in the drama group, I was excelling in the music group, I was excelling in the choir. But because that was not the yardstick to measure greatness for children, I was not on that pedestal where people could see me as somebody promising and things like that.
True.
So, bro, that got me. I mean, if I knew of therapy, then I could have gone for therapy.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't. It got to a point where it's so funny how now we've been talking about it so easily. There are points where after school I wouldn't take a particular route because I would see a lot of people that would just look at me funny, especially my classmate that had gone ahead of me.
Right.
You understand? And even when I had to do my SS1 redo, like I call it, it was hard when my mates now finished secondary school, and I was still there.
Yeah.
So because of the environment I was raised, it was quite communal. I would go to school in Mufti, just because I didn't want people to think that I was still in school. It was that deep. Yeah, it was that deep. So even when my new set people were supposed to like graduation and things like that, I didn't participate because I didn't give myself to learning. I didn't give myself to warming up to the new reality, the new normal. You understand? I was still stuck on with my old friends. So it kind of made me like a weirdo, because when I had like the new set come in and meet me in that class, I didn't mingle with them. I feel like now saying it, I kind of regret not, experiencing them. I didn't give them a lot of chance. I didn't want to be friends with them. I was just a loner. I was still, up until when my actual set people had kind of left school, I really didn't warm up to anybody. I don't think I'm friends with anybody from the new set now. I'm not sure. You understand? But I still maintain friends with my old chap. But it kind of just made me realize how you can lose out of life just because of you're going through things, trauma. You understand? So now back to how I turned it into what I am. It's funny when I tell people that I grew up shy or timid, because they don't see traces of it. You understand? I can literally go to the O2 Arena and speak in front of it now and not even fidget. That's because I took time off to confront my demons. And now one of the practical things I did from secondary school, because that's when I kind of decided working on myself. I'm like, look, if I'm going to keep avoiding a particular route, I'm doing myself no good. If I'm going to not speak on the group because I don't want somebody to say, but this guy's is like he repeated blah blah blah. Do you know that my set right, that I belong to, we have like plans for things that we're doing. Now that set is my original set, not the set I graduated with.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm one of the leaders there. And I am waiting for somebody to bring back what happened in 2005
And say you are not.
and say, no, but
you didn't graduate with us.
and then I'll sit with you and tell you what happened. I'll sit with you and give you how inconsequential that is. And now we live in it. This is funny, but we live in a world of identity. So identify as that set.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
It's so crazy. I swear, like, that is what I'm telling you. Like, this is, I can't believe we're having this conversation, because a lot of the things that you said, I can relate to it 100%, especially the emotions that comes with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I still struggle with it a little bit, especially when I come across my classmates.
If you've not dealt with it, bro,
Yeah,
you will struggle with it.
I still have like some of my classmates that they just knew I was never the guy. I was never the top of my class.
Yeah, academically.
Yeah. I was never it. So, and I think I've subconsciously or in a way just carried that identity for so long. I think I'm still carrying it right now, honestly.
Bro, you need to let go.
How do you let go though?
Because
I think I'm doing, sorry to cut you short.
Go ahead,
So
yeah.
one of the things, you mentioned something about how you were able to like deal with your demons.
Yeah.
For me, one thing that I got into was physical fitness.
Yeah.
I just started working out.
Yeah.
I had mad ass abs.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you guys can be taking all the prize, but at least I have abs and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. But that eventually created the idea of like, oh, you can actually build something.
Yeah.
And that was an escape for me. So it was an escape and a distraction. But there's still
not the
real
solution.
deal. Yeah, there's still the real deal that
Yeah.
whenever I find myself in that situation, I still see myself as that guy. This is how many years later now. If I still talk to any of my classmates, there's still that lingering feeling of, oh, they see you as you're not the best in class. You know, collect prize.
I know.
know?
Trust me, I know
So
what you're talking about.
It's crazy that you're talking about it, and I really want to know how to deal with it.
Yeah. So I think the first things first is I aggressively worked on myself. When I mean aggressive, bro, so on one of the podcasts I was on, and then we're just talking, and the host said, when I just loosely mentioned that I grew up in the barracks, and he was like, oh, you don't sound like a barrack child, blah 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 blah, and I told him something. I said, I worked on a lot of part of me because of where I wanted to be in. I knew that I will someday speak in front of very important people, speak in front of learned people. I need to work on how I speak. I knew that I was going to dine, be around people, great people. I worked on my culinary skills. I worked on so many things. I worked on posture. I worked on etiquette. I worked on poise. These are things that I took time to work on, because I know that these would be like the hindrances to where I want to be or where I'm going to. Now, back to how to work on, things like that. When I say aggressively work on myself, bro, I sat down, and it's something you can do to let myself know that I am the best deal. I am the biggest deal. Now, it's easier said than done, because people say, well, affirmations, yada. But now, not to a point of superiority, but when I enter a room, right, I always have it at the back of my mind that I'm the best in the room. And sometimes it comes as, it comes oppressive, when,
You don't think that's a bit of arrogance?
Yeah, but because it's not going to come out arrogantly, because I've dealt with that. So it will come subtly. It will come as confidence. It will come as confidence because I'm not going to be arrogant about it, because I've worked on my poise level. So I'm not going to come here very unrefined. I'm going to come here very refined, but confident. Very obeying.
Yeah.
Yeah, very obeying, and but very confident. You understand? Because there is hardly any situation you put me in that I will not thrive in. You understand? So I feel like for you to deal with that, go to the root cause. The root cause is your academical inexcellence. And then you obviously run into your old schoolmates and thinking that they're still looking at you in that regard. Well, that's their own idea of you. And now you don't even need to do so much to prove them wrong, because bro, that person that they saw is not this person here. So you need to also die mentally. You need to understand that that person died. I saw a post when somebody said, no one can throw my past in my face, because if you do, I'll sit you down and tell you what happened. That's the kind of mindset I've gotten to. I've done so many things in the past, bro, that I'm not so proud of. But if you want to come at me with them, I'll educate you, because I've dealt with it. You understand? So part of dealing with it is you firstly understanding that that person, that 16-year-old, 15-year-old person that they used to know, is different from this person. Okay? Now, if they don't see it, well, that's their loss. As long as you know that this is what you represent. Bro, I've had people from my, uni years who somebody made like a snide, and the person, we're close now. We didn't really talk about it because I didn't even want to act on it. But he kind of like mentioned something that happened many years ago, his own perception of many years ago. I'm like, and he made a comment. It would have triggered me if I hadn't dealt with it. But I didn't feel triggered. I kind of laughed. I even shared it with a few other people. I'm like, look at this person saying this. And then this person comes to my face and he's all nice and all literally worshipping the ground that I walk on. I'm proud of you. You're doing well. But I knew what he said last summer.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But at the end of it, I've killed him with my confidence, knowing that, look, whatever you think in your head, when you meet me in person, you're going to see a new version, because that version is dead. And then you need to grow up from that.
I swear, like, that is so powerful. And the more you've just spoken about it, I feel like there is more work for me to do, but also I feel like I'm on the right path.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Because I feel like it's one of the reasons why I started the whole idea of Urbane Bloke.
Yeah.
Refined man.
Yeah.
I've always imagined, I have this mindset, it's not imagination, that whoever you are right now, that is not who you don't necessarily need to be that person till you die.
Yeah.
There is always a place for improvement, becoming better. Like, all you need is just the awareness.
Yeah.
Like you said, the root cause. So I think for me now, it's just to like analyze the root cause. And what you just said now, I want to follow it up with the idea of identity.
Right.
Especially as a creative. We are in a society where what you do is tied to your identity. What you do is tied to the way people see you. And people can be closed-minded, people can be open-minded. But how important is let me not just say identity, branding and identity. What is the correlation between the two, and how important is it for you to know how to navigate that? And could you have a different identity from your personal life, or how do you navigate all of that? Like, break it down for me, please.
Okay. Now, let me tell you something, bro. When I was going to start this whole Black Multipod thing, this book took me 7 years of research to write. When I started talking about this, I had gone through phases where on my bio says classical singer. And then I'll write this very powerful article. And then maybe it gets featured on international blogs. And then because I know there's eyeballs on my page, then I re-edit and I put writer. And then I'll obviously go like maybe produce a show or produce an event or something like that.
Full producer.
And then I change it. So when I was going to write this book, one of the things that I struggled with mentally was me being afraid of people saying, he has started again. Was this new one? And then me also not sure if I could see it through, if I'm going to continue it. You understand? So, but it's funny how a lot of people, I mean, I get mad engagement on my page. The other day I posted it. I don't even do public, what's it called, that thing? Sponsored ads.
Yeah.
I think I did it when the book started, but that was it. I don't do it, but I just find like there's eyeball on my page. So probably via Google, they've seen something I've written, the book, and just want to grasp the person in the picture. It's funny how people just call me Multipod. You understand? And I dare say I popularized that word. You know. So now back to identity. Why I'm saying all of this long story is I chose to identify as that person that has refused to stick with one thing. And nobody, because of how I've pushed myself to the world, telling the world that I do X, Y, Z, and I'm not going to stop doing X, Y, Z. I think I've put myself in a position where I can hardly be criticized for doing anything new. If today I go into sports, they'll say, well, he said it, that's what he is.
True.
Do you understand?
Oh my God. That gives you so much freedom, though.
Bro, and that's the freedom I wanted. I really wanted to get myself to put myself on a pedestal where I would not feel like I'm being judged, because you can't even judge me. I've already judged myself by telling you that I'm a multipod for freaking sake. So if you have a problem with me navigating into something else, then you haven't read much about me. So for me, that's the identity. I wanted to really, really be free from my own thoughts and the thoughts of others. That's why I said I was going to put pen to paper and write a book and put it out there, so that somewhere, somehow, if somebody says, oh, I think this guy, I've seen him somewhere, he was singing with this choir group. And then you run into anything I wrote or anything I produced, and you're like, oh, is this same person? In your confusion, when you do your research, you'll find I've already exonerated myself with a book, and to tell you that this is what I do. Right. So, and I've seen quite a lot of people who now put Multipod on their bios. So I have like in terms of the scale of preference, social media wise, LinkedIn is my first. Right. So I have a good fan base there. That's where like I go to some of their pages, their profiles, and I just see that they've written that they're Multipod, and they list the things that they do. It's so freeing to be able to first let them know who you are, so they don't come to judge you, or you don't judge yourself by their standards. True. Now, because bro, do you know that right now, the book did what it needed to do for me first, before every other person has read it and understand. This is what it did for me. What it did for me was, it gave me the bragging rights, and then it kind of like I said, it shielded me from thinking that people are judging me, because now I don't. Before, bro. So one of my biggest regrets was sometime in before COVID. So my page I felt my page was scattered, but now I know better. I'm posting about my concerts, I'm posting about my this, so I had all of that craziness. Yeah. Do you know one of my greatest regrets was deleting all those things? Because in the B2 brand and things, aesthetics and everything, I took those things out. But today it haunts me, because I want people to be able to go back and see the things that I have done 10 years ago and understand my journey better. But now there is hardly any evidence of many things I have actually done. I've done great things. Like if I begin to list the things I've done in the past that I've not even put on my profile yet, you think like, wow, this person. But I'm now feeling the brunt of it, because I kind of deleted what I should have used as my CV.
Yeah, as your references. Yeah. But I think the experience is still there too, and nobody can take that away.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
They will always come up. And
definitely.
Thank you for actually doing something like this. Thank you for writing this book. First of all, I want to tell everybody to get themselves one of this. This book is a lifesaver. Honestly, like I read it and it made so much sense. And I felt connected to it. I still feel connected to it. So personally, I want to thank you for actually writing this. One question I want to ask you is from this book, right? Can you give me one practical step to? So for me, like this now, I've mentioned the photography, videography, podcasting. Already now, I'm thinking maybe I should explore writing too, and all of that, and maybe my acting too. You know, because I feel like you've motivated me a little bit now.
Yeah.
What is the best way for me to organize this and be intentional about it? And also, when you talk about these things, there is one word that has been ringing in my head, like discipline. Discipline. Because yes, you have the bragging rights now. You've cleared all doubts, like this is who I am. I can do all these things. Then for you to excel though, but you need a level of discipline. So the word discipline has been ringing, and where does that come in? And also, can you give me a practical step to just organizing and finding my way through all of that?
That's a hard one. Yeah, that's a hard one, and that's because I don't want to present myself as someone who has figured it out.
Oh, yeah.
Nah. I still have my struggles. I still have my daily struggles in pursuing and maneuvering and moving around the things that I love to do and the things that I do. Like we're talking off camera, I have my 3 Ps. That's passion, purpose, and profit. Now, this is where a lot of people they miss it. A lot of people think that if you can do 5 things, all 5 things should yield money, profit. If you're doing 5 things, all 5 things you should love it, passion. All 5 things is what you are meant to be. Now, if you ask me in a broader sense to describe myself in one word, I would say I'm a storyteller. I do that as a singer, a writer, a producer, a designer. So that is the intersection of all my abilities, a storyteller, right? Now, not to even veer off so far, the practical, one thing very practical I would like to let anyone who's struggling with, when we have like the scale of preference and how to maneuver, things like that. First things first. So I've heard some people say, build one first.
Yeah.
Build one first and then do the rest. I will not go through that route. Well, that's me speaking for myself. So some people feel like, well, build one and then when that one gets up there,
yeah, you extend it to the rest.
How do you know which one will get up there if you don't try all of them? Do you understand? You can be an actor and follow acting for 20 years, and you do not try your maybe sports skill or anything else, your culinary skill, maybe as a chef, and then you do it for 20 years. And then at the 20th year, when you've not become a household name in film, you want to try being a chef. You know what? You've lost 20 years of trying to be a chef. So at the end of the day, when people say build one first, and no, it doesn't work that way. Practically it doesn't. Because when you build one and you neglect the rest, you've lost experience, you've lost trial and error. So my advice is do all of them. Naturally, one of them will speak out louder. Like for me, in terms of something that, and now this is the trick, one of them will speak loudly and one of them would kind of tie into the 3 Ps. One of the things I've been paid most for to do is to write.
Right.
One of the things I love to do naturally, if you check my captions on social media, it's very thought out. It is to write. And one of the things I use in telling people or helping people is writing. So I get paid for it. I love it. And it's helping people's lives. So that's purpose, right? And then obviously maybe the next to it will be music, I think.
Passion.
You understand? Which is more like a passion. And then I have my day job. I have a couple of hustles that I do that are just for profits. You understand? I have a role in tech, but it's not as if I want to follow that through. is to pay my bills, because everybody has that skill. You understand?
True.
You understand? So, the practical thing to do, I feel, is to now come to social media. And the reason why, if you're going to be honest, the reason why you're struggling, or many other people are struggling with this, is because of how social media presents itself.
And that's why I said branding. I think that's
in the nutshell, that's it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
See, it's very easy for you to have like these 500 pages for the different expressions you have, and you're not able to intertwine with them. So this is where I'm going to advertise one of my highest paying skill yet, aside being a writer, is being a coach.
Okay.
I help people find the intersection of their multiple potentiality, their multiple gifts, their multiple abilities. There's always an intersection. When you find the intersection, right, your expression would be different. Now, if, for instance, now you might be, say, maybe not a storyteller like I am, you might be something else, but you would find that in everything that you do or can do ties into one thing. So one of my mentees, she's a lawyer, and then also a poet, and then she's like very passionate about advocacy for women. And I told her, I said, the one thing you are is a counselor. You're a counselor, and you do it via poetry, because the poetry she does is more about gender. She uses it, so unlike people who advocate vocally and shouting and everything, she laces it into poems. So you're reading poem, enjoying it, but you're understanding a message from it. And then she physically, as a lawyer, represents people.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is who she is. A lot of people need to understand, you need to find the intersection of all your abilities, because that's where your purpose lies. So you see this thing called purpose. It lies at the intersection of all the things you can do, because your purpose is your message, your reason for being, your message, that you've come with.
Right.
But then again, if your message is to save people from hunger, you should know how to cook. So it would come naturally.
True.
You understand?
True.
So obviously, like that's where that's in terms of showing up and socially, digitally. Once you understand your purpose, you know how to construct. Now, Instagram is not doing, or Meta as a whole is not doing so well with getting people to express, because you have this thing on the, when you like about your page, when you see artists, entrepreneur,
insights,
things like that.
Yeah.
What happens when you do many things? So the closest to me is entrepreneur, because that allows me to, express my different parts. So for anybody, the initial question, for anybody who is battling with navigating that because of solely for social media, what you can do is, obviously, that's why you have your bio. Right. When people understand what you do, the list of the things you do, then they can permit or be more judgmental, less judgmental, when they see your actual content and see that you've written it up there. Right. I follow, what's her name? Teinye Boyle. I love her. She's one of Multipod I want to speak with.
She's amazing.
Yeah. And then when you go on her bio, you see music and you see photography. You understand? Because she's put that out, you obviously know that when you go to her page and you see her song and then you see her work, you understand that she's displayed it. So I feel like a lot of people need to leave that idea of having a one-line bio or one something, so I spoke to somebody, who's still stuck in the whole leaving like 6 posts on the page, just feigning unavailability.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But if you're going to follow Genevieve Naji and not put anything on your bio, that's because Genevieve is Genevieve.
Right.
She knows that she does not need any introduction.
She's
you do.
Track record. Yeah.
So how do you? Don Jazzy was saying something. He said he doesn't take singers who, when he goes on their page, he doesn't see them post many. Some people have this stupid mentality that just do a shoot, just put artwork, just put, and then your page is just going to be glossy like that. You're not selling anything. You just think, now you're putting it for you and your family and your 5 friends.
Right.
Because the world is not even paying attention because you haven't put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's one thing a lot of smart creatives are putting things out there and shamelessly showing who they are.
Yeah.
Stupid creatives are creating for family and friends because they feel like when you come to the person's page and you don't see too many things going on, you just see it makes you value them. But I'll have to have heard of you first before I come to your page.
Right.
You understand? So my practical tool for that is show up with all that you can and make sure you write about the things that you do.
Right. Awesome. There is this quote that I found really profound in your book, and you'll tell me about the book while you're answering this because it's all packed in one question.
Right.
So I'll read it out. It says, "I stopped looking at what others are doing. Now I see clearly what I am doing. Maintain staying grounded in your creative journey." So that's let's put it on the side. Let's note that because that's really powerful. I want you to speak on that and explain that. And one final question that I want to ask you is, what is the one thing that anybody, you've spoken about like finding and navigating your purpose and trying all these things out. What is the one thing that now, I have this awareness now, I've listened to this pod, now I want to go out there and do it. What is the one defining question I should ask myself? And I don't need to share it with anybody, but this is just for me and my personal growth. What is that one question you think everybody or every creative should ask themselves?
Why? Why do I exist? Why am I here?
Right.
Why am I walking? Why am I still here? Because we all have friends that have died or family members. Why am I still here? Why am I still breathing? What did I come to do?
Understanding the why.
Understanding the why.
All right. Now let's talk about the quote now.
Yeah.
Explain that. Where did that come from? Like, because when I came across it, this is what I'm thinking, right? When I first saw it, I was like, okay, yes, I think I have an idea of what you're trying to see. But also, if I don't see what other people are doing, I wouldn't know how to match up with them and maybe do better than what they are doing. So how do you navigate that,
Okay, so the quote, I stopped looking at what others are doing. Now I see clearly what I'm doing, came from a place of not being authentic, being distracted by what people are doing, measuring my greatness with the yardstick of others, looking at other people's grasses if it's greener. You understand? So I literally stopped looking at what people are doing, how they're expressing their art, how they're expressing their multi-potentiality. I stopped looking at it, and then I saw in me the quiet strength to be authentic. So that comes from a place of me being authentic with myself. Now, fine and good, I do see what people are doing. I do appreciate their work, but not to the point where I'm losing myself or trying to be like them. So that's what that quote actually means. I stopped looking at what others are doing. I stopped hoping to be like other people. I stopped wanting what other people have. And now I know what I have and what I'm working towards.
Oh, that's good. That's actually really good. This book, right? The journey, I want you to walk me through the journey of writing and how the reviews have been, how, because even the cover, I feel like it was so intentional. Like, it is different, everything about it. And don't forget, you're still signing this for me, please.
I will, yes.
Yeah, so tell me about everything around this book and how people should get it. And I'm telling you guys, I got mine from Amazon. So, yeah. But tell us about the journey, honestly.
Right. Can I hold it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so a reintroduction. My name is Teinye Boyle. I'm the author of Black Multipod, the therapeutic guide for Black talent with multiple passions. Now, this book is an expression of hard work. It's an expression of pain. It's an expression of trueness. I wrote this book for somebody out there who is being mocked for wanting to be more than one thing. For somebody who has been termed confused. For somebody who people see and judge as indecisive because they cannot stick to one thing, one career, one passion, one pursuit. This book was written for them. People with a burning desire to be and become more. People who go to bed knowing that they are cheating on their other goals with one goal. That's This book is for people like that. Now, this book took me 7 years to write this book because I was researching. I wanted to be sure if I would be able to defend this. And that's why, take me anywhere in the world to talk about multipotentiality, I would speak in front of people who think speciality is a thing and should stay so.
Right.
That's because I have given myself to learning. I've understood, I've done my research and understood that there will always be single gifted people and there will always be multi-gifted people.
True.
And we exist.
Yeah.
And we're beginning to exist shamelessly.
Good.
Yeah. So
we are.
Yeah, we are, honestly. So that's why. Now, a bit of the journey, of this book was, let's start from the cover. When I was designing this book you would not appreciate this book on paperback.
Yeah.
You appreciate it more on hardcover.
Right.
Now, the idea is to create an illusion of something that you can see differently. Now, if I look at this book, the cover, I can say it's probably a man thinking, a shadow of a man thinking, or a reflection. If you see it, you definitely see something else. Some people have told me they've seen smoke. Just
Actually,
flame.
once you just mentioned it looks like someone who's smoking.
Yeah. So it's the idea. It was intentional, and you know what it is. This cover represents the fact that you're not meant to be understood at one glance. So it's also for people who need to stop trying to make people understand them. When God called you, it wasn't a conference call, so not everybody will understand it. It's you and God.
Yeah.
So that's really, really, really why I wrote this book and who this book is for. So the journey to this book, honestly, it was hard. It took me the whole of 2023. That was my only goal. I had an event that started, and I was going to continue, but I stopped. I said I needed this to get out because it was burning in my heart. I needed this to get out. I said, no, I'm going to dedicate this full year to writing this book. And when I did, now it's not that much pages, but I needed to put things that I can defend in 10, 20 years' time. So I wanted to be sure. Sometimes I'll go on some chapter. I think I can't remember the chapter now, but one chapter took me 5 months. One chapter took me 5 months because I kept on studying. I think it was the one where I talked about the different multi-talented, because I needed to be able to defend whatever I was putting there. Because, like they'll say, if you want to learn about a man, read his book.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be sure that I wrote something that anybody who meets me today and says, "What do you mean by this?" I'll be able to explain it. So wrote about it, put it out. It's on my personal website, TeinyeBoyle.com, and then it's selling on Amazon, and then selling on Seller if you live in Africa.
Right.
Globally, it's selling on Amazon, US, Canada, UK, but you can also get it from my website too. And then we're hoping to get it on leading stores physically. We're working towards getting it in one of the stores in Nigeria, because Nigeria is really demanding for physical copies. It's not selling there yet. It's just the e-copies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're working towards that, and in no time, that's one of the things I would be doing very soon.
Right.
So this book is a gift to the world, my gift to the world, letting the world know that there would always be single gifted people. And there will be multi-gifted people like myself.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And honestly, just to add a little bit on it, when I read it, I like the way you've constructed it. it is very easy to understand. You come out, it feels like you're directly talking to someone.
Yeah, that was
So
the
it
intention.
is very, very like I was consuming it, and you don't have to struggle with it.
Yeah.
It's something that once you start it, you want to finish it.
Yeah.
And really, thank you for doing something like that.
Thank you.
Do you have anything coming up that we should look out for?
So I'm big on community and
Right.
culture.
Right.
Right. So one of the things people should be looking out for is a platform that celebrates, recognize, and connects Africans in diaspora.
Right.
So that's what I'm currently working on. That's like the next phase. So the next phase, I feel like for the foreseeable future, in terms of project-wise, consistent project-wise,
Right.
I think I've given myself to community.
Right.
To work on that community. I feel like we're not, the African community, African creative community is not well represented, and it's not well celebrated.
Right.
So that's why I'm trying to build a community and a platform that, platforms African creatives who would naturally not fall under the cadre of people who are Black,
Yeah.
British,
Okay.
you understand? But people who are African,
Africans,
so people who are first generation immigrants,
Right.
but
right.
are still thriving and doing great things. Because at the end of the day, you've got all these awards, Black this, Black that, Black this, but that table will not platform you and I. Because we don't have the requirement. I'm not going to go much into details, but we don't have the
Right.
requirement that such a platform really, really is about.
Right.
You understand? We want a platform where we can express fully.
Mhm.
If I'm going to go to a Black event, a Black people's event in quotes, and I'll be looked at weirdly if I come in my traditional attire, I don't think I want to
Yeah.
be there.
We want the Black excellence
Yeah.
to be manifested.
Yeah.
like,
So I'm not going to go there wearing suit and tie
mm,
to a Black event. No. I feel like all Black people have cultures and they all came from somewhere. I'm
Right.
not going to go into the debate of where they come from, but all Black people came from somewhere.
yeah.
At least the race had a tribe, had
Oh,
a
definitely.
way of life, a culture.
There's a root.
Yeah, there's a root.
Yeah.
So if a platform celebrates my race but does not celebrate my ethnicity, I'm not proud to be on that platform. So that's why I'm building a platform that celebrates not just race, not just ethnicity, not just nationality,
Okay.
but the wholesomeness of being of the very, very, very rich African race. So
Love
yeah, I'm
it,
working on
love
something
it,
which
love it.
you've seen quite.
Love
quite
it.
all.
Thank
And then
you
of
so
course,
much.
like I said, I'm working on International Men's Day event.
I'm looking forward to that.
So which definitely you're definitely on board, and a couple
Yeah.
of other things. Film
Makes
is
sense.
like the next phase of my creative expression.
All right. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you
And
so
I'm
much.
looking forward to other things. Honestly, like, thank you for honoring this invitation. Thank you for sharing the nuggets.
Yeah.
Final question. I know I said final question, but just one last one. What is the one quote that you go by?
Very easy.
Yeah.
I would rather be worth knowing than well known.
Oh, that's deep.
Mm.
Okay. It has a lot of substance to it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm going to jot that down.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much,
Really
Gary.
appreciate
I
it.
really appreciate it. I've been wanting to do this, so thank you for finally bringing me here.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And guys, if people want to follow you and reach out to you directly, how?
Yeah. So it's Teinye Boyle on all socials. I think I'm on all socials.
Yeah, you're actually very easy to.
Yeah, very
see,
easy.
yeah.
Just look for Teinye Boyle and you get my links from everywhere. Really.
Yeah. So guys, reach out to him. He's a life coach. He has so many things to give out. He's awesome. I've experienced him personally. He's been on the Urbane Bloke Experience and he shared his experiences and we've learned a lot. We don't have enough time to cover everything, so make sure you get the book, reach out to him, follow his content, follow his page, and yeah, I promise you, it's a lot of positive, impactful things. And thank you for hanging out, thank you for reaching out, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, for contributing, and for investing your time and energy into this episode. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll leave you like I always leave you. Make sure in everything you do, remain refined, be your pain, choose you, and always live life for yourself. I'll see you next time. Peace.